This is a Cincy fan talking with LP. You can catch me on Twitter. That's a Cincy fan talking. You say it like it sounds, just leave off the G. If you have ideas for the show, you can reach me at Cincy_fan talk at yahoo.com. If you have any suggestions for the show, make sure you leave them there. Who knows, you might find yourself as part of the show. Any feedback would be definitely appreciated. And also, make sure you hit the Linktree page that's on my Twitter. Make sure you click on that. You can find all the different ways to contact me there. Enjoy the show. Yo, what's up? We're back with a Cincy fan talking with LP, and of course, this is LP. We're gonna talk a little bit of hoop. We got the playoffs jumping off. We got the real playoffs. Not saying that last year's playoffs wasn't real, but it was one of those things where it just felt a little different. It didn't feel like it normally felt. Probably because they were playing the finals at such a weird time of the year. This year feels a little bit like it normally would, even though it's still kind of sort of off. So this is really the only time I watch consistent NBA play. Um, I'm not watching that all at the beginning of the year, like not even a little bit. Around Christmas is when I catch the first couple of games, but I'm still in and out. It picks up for me playoff time, and then I'm tuned in. I'm catching glimpses throughout the season, so I know who's having a good year, who's kind of falling off. But this is when I'm watching. It just means more now. They're not really playing in the beginning of the year. But one thing is always consistent in the NBA, and it's been consistent for a real long time now. And it's LeBron James hate. Man, why do people hate this man so much? Like, I just don't get it. The the LeBron hatred baffles me. I'm not even about to run through his stats because as soon as you start running through this man's stats and all the stuff he's done, people call you a LeBron rider. Well, what about MJ? What about so and so? He can't stop this guy. All he do is flop, and it's weird. Like it's crazy to me. Now, if you've heard me on the pod before, like I'm not the guy that has the LeBron jersey hanging up behind me right now. Like, I'm not that guy that can recite all of LeBron's facts. But here's the thing about me, and here's the thing about anybody that respects the game of basketball. You respect talent, and you respect talent that transcends the game. You respect that, you appreciate it, and you give it its just due. That's LeBron. That's LeBron to a T. You respect that. You appreciate it. That's who he is. I said this before on the pod. I'll say it again. When you got a guy who you can put on your squad and you can automatically pencil that squad in for the finals, how can you possibly hate on that? You can answer this question right now. Do you want to go to the finals? Yes. Is LeBron on your team? Yes. Congratulations, you're going to the finals. Is LeBron on your team? No. Is your team in the Western Conference? No. You're not going to the finals. Is your team in the Eastern Conference? Yes. You got a shot. It's been that way for years. The only change is for a long time you could flip that and say Eastern and Western in different parts of the sentence. That's it's weird that people hate on that. If you're gonna hate on LeBron, at least give him that. At least give him the fact that he carries entire teams. And if he has help, he takes teams to championships. But people won't even give him that. It's LeBron flops, LeBron beats bad competition, this, that, and the third. And it's just weird to me. And it brings me to my point. America doesn't like winners in the way that America thinks that they like winners. We live in a country that likes winners under certain conditions. That's that's the MO of American athletics. We like winners. Dot dot dot. That's how it is. Like, and if you really think about what I just said, it makes so much sense. Think about the Patriots. We like the Patriots. Dot dot dot. But they started winning too much, and now we don't like the Patriots. Simple as that. You can name any team that's won consistently, or you can name any athlete that's won consistently, and you can find probably 65% of America that hated that athlete. And I'm sure people will go like, well, what about Michael Jordan? Everybody liked Jordan. Let me stop you there. Because it wasn't always like that with MJ. MJ had a lot of haters. Like, he had a whole lot of haters. As the years progressed, those haters kind of looked at him with awe. But I preface that with this because when MJ retired, when he left the game, MJ had nothing but love from pretty much everybody except the fan bases that he tortured. But I strongly feel like if you drop MJ into this dynamic now with social media and all of that, I don't think it would be the same. I think people will find things to hate about Michael Jordan. His three wasn't consistent. All he does is drive to the hoop. All he has is a mid range game. People will find things to not like about Michael Jordan because that's where we are in American athletics. That's where we are in society. You can only be on top for so long until America wants somebody else on top to replace the person that's on top. You can't have the throne for too long without a whole lot of hatred to go with it. It's like a patience thing. Like, America doesn't have the patience for a consistent winner. You take the Yankees, you take the Ohio State Buckeyes, you take the Dallas Cowboys. Like, these are all franchises that, well, and schools that you have a core group of people that love the hell out of these teams. And then you have a large group of people that absolutely hate these teams. I tell people I'm a Buckeyes fan. I only get two responses. I only get two responses. There's never an in between. Like, honestly, I say, yeah, well, let's say, well, who your team? Who your college team? I say Buckeyes all the way. Response one. Oh, yeah, man. Like, I love the Buckeyes. Man, I'm telling you, we can hang out, man. Man, that's cool. Response number two. Ugh, you like the Buckeyes? How could you like the Buckeyes? That's awful. Oh God. Like, man. We can't. No, I gotta stay away from you come game day. Those are the only two responses I get. It is extremely rare that response number three comes into play. This response. Oh, really? Oh, that's cool. like the indifferent response. They don't they don't give you that feeling of I just don't care. It's either one or the other. There are very few franchises like that. You get that with the Steelers, um, folks like that. With all of these franchises, though, they're consistent winners, and their fans they want them to keep winning. But the people that don't like them will tell you really, really quick, "Oh man, don't you get tired of them? Man, I'm tired of them." Like you hear that with Alabama a lot. People are getting tired of Alabama, like they really are. It was cool at first, like when they were climbing. I mean, I don't think they've ever been down per se, but once they started winning championships again, it was all good. But now people are getting tired of Alabama. And I feel like Clemson's the same way. Right now, Clemson's on the upswing. I mean, there used to be an actual term. I'm not making this up. You can look this up. There used to be an actual term called Clemsoning, where you're about to get the dub, you're about to win, and then you found a way to mess it up. That was called Clemsoning. People used to call it that. Like it was, it was crazy. Clemson found a way to get over the hump, and now people are really feeling Clemson. They're like a recent superpower. Give them a little bit of time. Let them keep winning. People will get tired of Clemson. America does not like a consistent winner. That's what LeBron is. He is a consistent winner. And according to the American pattern of athletics, you win too long, you either have to do two things. You either got to lose or you got to leave. America will much rather see you lose because if you lose, you know, people can gloat. Oh, I knew you was trash. Ugh, like you should have just hung it up. They act like they want to see you leave on top. Now, that's kind of plan B. Leaving on top is, yeah, well, at least you can't win anymore. I just kind of find it weird. I personally respect consistent winning. This is me personally. I'm more of an old school type of person when it comes to winning. I'm like, if you keep winning, you deserve to keep playing until you lose. I was the guy when we were playing video games as a kid, when we were making up the rules. I was the one that was like, whoever wins get to keep playing until they lose. I was that dude. I don't care if that person wins 74 times in a row. You got to beat that person. And if you don't beat that person deserves to keep playing. Them's the rules. Simple as that. If hey, I subscribe to the Ric Flair school of thought. To beat a man, you got to beat the man. And I feel like to win a championship, that's how it should be. You should earn it. That's how it used to be in basketball. When you kind of look at the lineage of championships in the NBA, it used to be like that. In order for the Pistons to get theirs, they had to beat the Lakers. In order for the Bulls to get theirs, they had to beat the Pistons. Like there was kind of like a flow to it. I mean, the Pistons they kind of had to beat the Celtics. They kind of had to get through the Celtics and they had to get through the Lakers. I mean, there was always that bully that was standing in the way, and then they had to knock out the bully. In order for the Bulls to kind of get to where they needed to go, they had to beat the Pistons. I mean, there was always that bully that was standing in the way, and you had to knock the bully off. That's how it was. I won't say basketball's not like that anymore. It's more like nowadays there's just a lot of teams that are they're I would say they're just equally talented. All of the teams back then, it seemed like the talent was in three or four places in each conference. And now the talent is just so spread out. There are not a lot of bad teams now. And people want to say, this era is better than the old era or the 80s or the 90s. And it'll never be like that. One era is not better than the other. I mean, the best teams from the 90s would easily play today and be okay. The best teams now would easily go into the 90s and be okay. It's basketball. If you're really good now, you'll be really good then. If you're really good then, you'll be really good now. Really good teams adapt. They just switch it up and they go ball. If you're a really good team. If you're a really bad team, you'd be trash no matter how you play. I mean, you just trash. The thing about it is, right now, there are three or four good players on most teams. That's just how it is. You got to bring your A game every night. Back then, there weren't three or four good players on every team because, for one, there were less teams, and for two, the talent just wasn't spread out like that. That's what made the really good teams really good, and it made the really bad teams really bad. So the really good teams beat up on the really bad teams. True, you got to pad those stats, but the really good teams were really, really, really hard to beat because they had all the good players. That's just kind of how it was. So I don't know. It's for me the LeBron hate. It it won't stop. When LeBron retires, the LeBron hate won't stop for another 3 or 4 years because I've said this for a long time. You won't appreciate what LeBron's doing until he stops doing it. He's one of those players to where he just makes it look so easy. When you make things look easy, people don't appreciate it. It's like that guy who's juggling two jobs with a family and just getting everything done and doesn't complain about it. He just gets it done. And it's to the point where you're like, "Oh, that's that's just what he does." And you think it's easy, so you're like, "Oh, well, that's nothing." Until you have to do it. And then you go like, "Wow, this is ridiculous. How is he doing that?" That's basically LeBron James. Like he does what he does every single year and he makes it look so easy that other people don't appreciate it and they kind of downplay it. They go like, "Oh, well, he puts up those numbers. Why can't he do better?" Nobody can put up those numbers that he's doing consistently year after year after year. And nobody's going to appreciate that until he's no longer doing it and nobody else is doing it consistently. And that's when you'll kind of hear the haters go like, "Oh, damn, I was wrong." Like I was wrong as hell. But until then, the LeBron hate it'll just be there. I'm sure people are expecting the Lakers to take the L in the first round. That's hard to tell. For me, this will be one of the toughest series they play because the Suns are good. If they win, it'll be in six. If they lose, it'll be in seven. I'm still trying to figure out who's going to win this series, but it'll be a close one, and we'll be watching it. We'll be checking it out. I'm thinking about maybe commentating one of these games. We'll check it out. I'll keep y'all posted. If it goes seven, I might have to do that. But I'll keep y'all posted. Definitely check me out on Twitter for updates on that. And y'all know what it is. It's at a Cincy fan talking. Leave off the G. Yeah, you know that by now. So until then, we out of here. Um, it's Tuesday. All right. This one of those weird weeks, but check us out next Tuesday. You can catch the details after this. But as always, life is good, and we out.
Hi! Hi! I'm Princess. And I'm Queen. This is Daddy.
You have to say, and this is a Cincy fan talking with LP.
And this is a sensitive friend talking with LP Daddy.
Nice job.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? What's up, fam? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Humble Pod. Welcome to a Cincy fan talking with LP. And of course, this is LP. Appreciate y'all stopping by for, I guess, a Wednesday edition of the Tuesday edition of the Humble Pod. Crazy stuff happening, life stuff. Nothing major, but you get busy, life happens, trying to get through the end of the school year, and it's been super crazy. We'll jump into more of that next week or whatever. But it's just been a little while. So, we have to push things back a day or so. But, we here, we getting it done. So appreciate y'all kind of holding the line while we tighten things up and, push this out here for y'all. Um, Proud member of the On the Map Productions Network. Super hype about it. Ready to do big things this summer. Ready to get it popping for the whole year. So shout out to Eric Lyons TV. Shout out to Tom Green Pod. Shout out to All Nest Off. Shout out to One Done Radio. Big shout out to Sports Headlines. They've been doing it out here for a while, so definitely appreciate them. So just look out for us out here. We definitely plan on giving y'all some solid content. So be ready for it. We will definitely be out here. So be checking for that. Um, so we're gonna just go ahead and hop right into it. So um, and really this is I definitely sports related. Definitely stuff I've been thinking about as this whole thing has progressed with the quote unquote racial reckoning type. And for me, I'm like, we coming to a racial reckoning now. like like really something clicked in everybody like now is the time. It's I've been saying this for a while. um the ridiculous incident that occurred that led to George Floyd's unfortunate passing kind of sparked all of this, and for some strange reason it was expected that athletes were supposed to carry the torch for the entire year. It was supposed to like push us to the next step. For one, that's absolutely weird. To me, it was like the athletes were supposed to be that spark. The stuff that we saw in the NBA and the stuff that we saw, with the NFL folks making their videos or whatever, trying to let everybody know what it was out here. That was supposed to be the spark. And then you're supposed to have, as quote unquote everyday folks pushing us to the next part. That's what was supposed to happen. But instead, you get a whole lot of folks trying to, placate us, naming streets after civil rights activists and taking Uncle Ben off of the rice boxes and changing the master bedroom name and stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't really help us. And when I say us, I mean black people. I mean that. But I also mean us as a society. Like it doesn't help anybody doing stuff like that. It doesn't push the conversation forward for one. And this is my big thing. And I told myself from the very beginning, I'm not gonna start a pod and not be honest on my own pod. I'm not gonna do that. For me, it's like I see all of this stuff, pushing everything about, celebrate African American content, celebrate black voices. And, you start seeing all this stuff. You see people, wanting to get your information so they can push you out there because, you got a black voice or whatever. And I'm always thinking to myself, I, I get it. I appreciate that people are trying to help, and I'm not knocking that because that's where it starts. That's where the spark comes from. But in the back of my head, I'm always thinking to myself, as easy as it is for folks to give that, it's just as easy to take it away. And I feel like that's what we've been seeing throughout the year. You kind of start seeing that slow decrease in caring about the issues. And that's what I'm really talking about, the issues. Like, it really doesn't help if you're promoting certain podcasts. It matters about the content of what you're promoting and if you're doing it on a consistent basis. Like, it's cool if you're pushing black voices for a month. Like, that's great. And that's why I was leery about, people kind of approaching me about that in February. Like, I appreciate that. But I would appreciate that more if you hit me up about that in June and July and August, when the conversation kind of drops and we need that assistance, because this is a conversation that we need to have all year. It's not a February conversation. Like, it's not just 1 month. And I feel like I put this out there after what happened to George Floyd. I put that out there, and I put it out there a little bit again. That spark just seems to dim after a while. It's like people kind of wait and they hope for it to dim. It's like, you just kind of sit back and you get quiet and you just wait for the passion that we show to no longer be there. And once it's not there, then it's back to status quo. And that's the heartbreaking part. It really is. That's the heartbreaking part because George Floyd wasn't the last person to die by those means. It's upsetting. It's frustrating because when I see those year retrospectives, how are things now? Are things changing? No, things aren't changing. And you can ask this question in 2001. You can ask it in 1991. You can ask it in 1981. The answer will be the same. No, things are not changing. And you can blame this on so many different things. We could sit here for hours and we can go back and forth on who's to blame. What's to blame? The outside factors, the environmental factors, who's in the household, who's not in the household, educational factors. We can do this all day. We can talk about who's responsible, who's not responsible. But the core question is, are things the same as they were a year ago? Yes. I mean, we can point to small incremental changes, but we're asking weird questions. In 1 year, has the status quo changed from, I don't know, 50 years ago, 60 years ago? No, not even close. This is not something that happens overnight. And the powers that be aren't really trying to change it overnight. And this is where I think people kind of get down on the athletes because they're like, okay, you're not kneeling anymore. You're not doing the stuff that you were doing before. Um, I don't see the Black Lives Matter on your backs anymore and things like that. And for me, I wouldn't say that it's not their job. I wouldn't say that because they have a platform that's bigger than ours. So they're able to say and do certain things and it's more visible. But at some point, we can't put all of this on the athletes. I mean, we just can't. I mean, they push to a certain extent, and then we have to do the work as well. I mean, they can't do everything just because they dribble a ball or throw a ball or catch a ball. It can't be all on them. At least I don't think so. I will admit that in the past year, we've seen a steep drop off in what's been going on as far as outward activism on the court. I will say that. But on the other hand, I don't see a lot of fans clamoring for that either the way they were last June and last July. I don't see a lot of fans out there going like, why aren't you wearing this on your back? Why aren't you kneeling on the court? Why don't I see you talking about Breonna Taylor? I don't hear that either. I don't see that on social media. So is it necessarily fair to dump on the athletes? They're really a reflection of what we want to see. It's entertainment. If we clamor to see that, that's what we're going to see. If we don't talk about seeing that, then we're not going to see that. They're there to entertain us. They're there to basically, I wouldn't say like perform is a weird word. I mean, they're not performing for us. People can say that they are, but that's a weird word. They're paid athletes. They're doing a job. But we're an audience. So they're going to do certain things for the audience. And if this is what we want to see, then they're going to do that. And I personally feel, me personally, that the more fans that we see in certain sports, the less outward activism we're going to see. I don't think basketball is going to be a problem as far as outward activism because of who's playing. I mean, you have a lot of black athletes in basketball. You also have a lot of international athletes who are sensitive to what their peers are going through. They understand what's happening. They get it. They come from other places that are not America and they get it. So they're willing to support their black teammates. You know, you have teammates from Spain and Australia and everywhere. I mean, the NBA is global now. It really is. You know, you got Argentina, Croatia. I mean, they're everywhere. You have basketball players everywhere now, and they're willing to support their teammates. In football, it's not really like that. You have black teammates, you have white teammates. You may have different races every now and again, but a majority is black and white. And the white teammates support the black teammates, and the black teammates support the white teammates, but there can be more of a split, and it's usually political. And the owners always seem to get in the way when it comes to the NFL. So it will be very interesting to see what happens as more and more fans start filtering into the arenas to see sports. Those displays that we saw. Are we going to see that stuff again? It'll be interesting to see. Me personally, I don't think we need to see that stuff because it's more about what you do. You can have somebody that doesn't kneel on the court at all, but they're in the community, they're devoting resources, they're doing what they have to do. So I wouldn't say that stuff is necessarily that it has to happen, but it's more like we've went through a crazy year, and I feel like we're doing that two steps forward, three steps back thing. And if we're really about what we said we were about, at some point there has to be some progress. America's track record says different. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and say, yeah, I mean, I expect us to. I don't know if I see it anytime soon. People can say, hey, we've come a long way. We started from below the bottom. So when we say we come a long way, it means we're getting close to zero. As far as racial harmony, as far as equality, we're not even close. I mean, we're not. Athletics is about as close as we get to equality. It's one of the most equal places that we can see as far as equality. On the field, off the field, maybe not as much, but it it'll be an interesting summer. It really will. Don't know if I'm going to be going to sporting events. I'm fully vaccinated. I wear a mask everywhere. Still, I'm just not comfortable being in crowds without a mask. I'm just not. I see a lot of people around me that feel the same way. Every now and again, you'll see a person just kind of walk through, mask off, kind of looking at us like we're crazy, and we're looking at them like they're crazy. Um, I don't know the whole mask thing. We're to a point now where if you're not wearing a mask, um, I'm hoping that you're fully vaccinated. I know the CDC says you can do that stuff, but I just don't think we're out of the woods quite yet. So because of that, you're not gonna see me at sporting events and things like that. Got to miss the Janet Jackson concert. I don't want to. I'm gonna have to miss that though. So just definitely stay safe out there. Um, get the shots if you can. If you're not that shot person, if you feel like you don't want to do that, I mean, respect. Wear your mask around me. That's all I ask. You got Cincy Fan talking with LP. We'll be right back. I'll let you in a second. If you're not ready for the conversation to end, I'm not either. Make sure to catch me on Twitter. That's the Cincy Fan talking. Leave off the G at the end of it, and we can keep the conversation going. Also, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button so you can catch the next episodes. The episodes will drop every Tuesday. If there's a change in that, I'll make sure to let you know. Appreciate the support. As always, life is good.